Hey everybody, thank you for joining us. We're going to get started in just a few minutes here for our National Farmers Market Week Toolkit walkthrough and get an excited session. So settle in, and we're going to get started at probably 2 minutes after the hour just to catch any last stragglers coming in a little late. So we'll get started here soon. As folks are joining us, if you'd like to jump in the chat and let us know where you're coming from, what market you're representing or organization that works with farmers markets, or maybe you're just a big farmers market fan and you're excited to celebrate Farmers Market Week with us. So if you could jump in the chat and just say where you're coming from. We always love to see where everybody is joining us from around the country. So jump in the chat and let us know. And like I said, we'll get started in just 1 or 2 minutes. Alrighty, well, I know this is an extremely busy season for everybody, and we've got a good little crew here going, so we'll get started. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Hannah Fuller. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm based in Washington, D.C., and I'm the communications manager for the Farmers Market Coalition. And I'm joined with my colleague, Mike Lee. Mike Lee, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Michael Lee McGowan. My pronouns are she, her, they, them, and I am the communications associate, currently residing in Easton, Pennsylvania.
Awesome. So welcome to our National Farmers Market Week Toolkit walkthrough webinar. Today we'll be talking a bit about the overview of National Farmers Market Week, why we think that you should join in on the celebrations that are happening around the country and this year around the world. We're really excited about it. And we'll ask you to jump, if you've celebrated National Farmers Market Week before, we're going to prompt you to share a little bit about that in the chat with us. We're going to keep things pretty quick and brief, and then we're going to have a big chunk of time at the end for any questions you might have. I know in the webinar format, it's hard because we can't see your faces, but we hope that you'll jump in the chat and talk with each other, share advice with each other, and ask us any questions you have. When you're in the chat, make sure that you're chatting with everybody and not just the panelists or the hosts. That's just a setting. When you're about to hit chat, it says 2, and you just want to make sure in that drop-down menu you've got everybody selected so that everyone can see all the wisdom that you're dropping in the chat box. So I think that's everything. This webinar is going to be recorded for you. So if you have some market crisis that comes up, or there's a kiddo who's in your house and you need to go run off and deal with that, feel free to log off at any time and you can catch the recording in the FMC library. It'll be up there either tomorrow or very early next week. And we'll make sure that that's emailed out to folks who are registered. So if you're here, you're good to go. And like I said, if you have any questions at any time, just drop them in the chat and we'll get to them at the end. So I will get us going here. So National Farmers Market Week, it's coming up in exactly a month. So in 1 month from today, we'll be kicking it off. It's always on the first Sunday of every August. It's that whole first full week of August, and it's proclaimed by the USDA. We're entering our 23rd year of National Farmers Market Week, which is really exciting. And the USDA proclaims it. FMC helps coordinate and provide a lot of resources, but it's thanks to all of you on the ground making markets happen in your communities and having celebrations with your community members that really makes National Farmers Market Week a vibrant celebration. We really couldn't do it without you. If you are unfamiliar with FMC, we are a national membership-based nonprofit dedicated to strengthening farmers markets across the US so they can serve as community assets while providing real income opportunities for farmers. And if you are not one of our members yet, we hope you'll join us. FMC members get early access to things like the Farmers Market Week Toolkit. It's thanks to our membership that we're able to advocate and serve as a voice for farmers markets on a national scale. And we do a lot of other resource development and fun work that we hope you'll get involved in, whether you're a member or not, but membership is pretty affordable. And if you're a part of a state association, you're likely able to access our membership for free. So no matter what, we hope you'll reach out and become a member and join our coalition. The more people we have together, the stronger we are. So when it comes to National Farmers Market Week, you maybe have celebrated before. So if you are joining us and you are a National Farmers Market Week veteran, I hope you'll jump in the chat and let us know why you've participated and maybe share a bit with us what you've done to celebrate in the past. Michael is going to talk a lot about how to celebrate and what tools we have to help you celebrate online and at your market. But I got to pitch you first on why it's so important to join us in this celebration. So if you have participated before, like I said, jump in the chat and let us know why you put in all this energy to celebrate at your market every August. First off, one of the things that we really like to highlight for why participating in National Farmers Market Week is so important is advocacy and engaging legislators. This is a Farmers Market Week proclamation in Arkansas last year, and then also media and public support. So this is a farmers market getting some action on a local news station. So while your market is thriving all year long and operating weekly, you might not realize it, but you've just become this integrated, regular part of community life. And National Farmers Market Week provides this hook, this excitement, this build of energy during a week of the year to invite those media folks and get some extra attentions, which often can lead to some extra customers and foot traffic. And then also inviting those legislators and elected officials to your market. And we think that's really important because there's a lot of times that markets need support from those elected officials, whether it's a permit to operate in a parking lot or it's funding from the state when there are crises happening like natural disasters or global pandemics. It's really, really important to have the support of those folks in office that have the power to help you really thrive. We noticed during the pandemic that farmers markets and farmers market associations that had good relationships with their elected officials that they'd established over years of calm and just regular years, then were a lot more successful when it came to adapting during the pandemic. And unfortunately, there are going to continue to be things like the pandemic and other crises that your farmers market is going to have to work through. And so creating those relationships when times are good and there's a celebration happening and they can come out and see the amazing work that you're doing in your community is really important. So we provide invitations in our advocacy toolkit to invite them out to the market. Even if they're busy during that first week of August, it can be a great excuse to send that invitation. With all this extra attention, it's a great opportunity to share your market story through things like data. These are our Why Farmers Markets graphics from a few years ago. Michael is going to show you the fancy new ones from 2022. It's a great opportunity to collect data and to share everything that your market is doing in your community. That extra attention from advocates, from legislators, and maybe it's a newspaper article or a media connection. You can use that extra attention to showcase the impact that your market is having in your community, the special programs that you're running, and to gain some extra support. So if there are things that you really want to highlight in terms of challenges you've overcome, things that you are working on, it's a great opportunity to share your market story with that extra attention. It's also a great opportunity to share programs and fundraise. So even if you don't have big attention from a newspaper, or you are just putting together your National Farmers Market Week celebration the week before, we know that there are markets with vastly varying different capacities. It's a great opportunity to fundraise and have a raffle, or even just showcase with folks like, hey, it's National Farmers Market Week. Here in our small town, we are one of many thousands of farmers markets across the country, but we have big impacts in our small town. Help support us by making a donation to our farmers market today. So it's a great opportunity to, again, kind of using that excitement and that hook to get your customer base and your big supporters to support you. And along those lines, we have our national, state, and shared messaging. So state and national. So this year, that messaging is farmers markets don't just happen. And that's a great thing to use for fundraising if you're fundraising for your market or your programs. Farmers markets don't just pop up out of nowhere. I've noticed that even some big farmers market fans don't realize that tents don't just pop up out of the ground like mushrooms. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, including all of y'all attending webinars like this one and others to really make an active effort to make a organized, thriving market in your communities. So it's a really important message that we are bringing to the table this year on a national scale. Whether that message you feel like connects with you and what you want to be sharing with your customer base, that's up to you to decide. But we're going to be sharing that farmers markets don't just happen messaging on our channels, both as a advocacy message. So as we lead up into Farm Bill 2023, we're going to really be trying to highlight the essential role that farmers market operators play in their communities. So all of you deserve support and recognition. And so we hope that you will help us by showcasing all of the work that you do, and that'll help us work with our national scale advocacy groups to showcase the value of farmers market operators. We also think that it's just really important that people understand that thoughtful, progressive farmers markets that are working towards being more accessible and inclusive don't just happen. So expertise and continuous learning through resources like the Anti-Racist Farmers Market Toolkit and the Farmers Market Legal Toolkit, and all of these things that are helping market operators build better markets and more accessible and equitable markets don't just happen. And so we hope that people understand that just by going with the status quo, markets will continue to be how they are, but we know that all of you are always continuously trying to improve markets and create them as these community hubs for really cool stuff happening. So that's our state and national messaging. And what's cool about that is if you jump on with us and use our hashtags that Mike Lee is going to talk about and our messaging, it's one of these the rising tide lifts all boats situations when it comes to social media. The more people that are using the hashtags together, we all get more traction, and the algorithms, they really like it when we're all working together. So that really helps us all together get more eyes on our stuff. So we hope that you'll join us in sharing that messaging and sharing everything out on your channels. So without further ado, I think I'm going to, oh, and also celebration is fun. Oh my gosh, I was going to end on just our messaging, but celebration is fun. And I think during our current times, there's a lot of doomsday news cycles and things like that going on. And it's really important to highlight everything positive that farmers markets are bringing to communities and highlight them as a space where people really can come together and be their true full selves and support each other and their communities. So we hope that you'll jump onto this as a fun celebration and recognize that customers and other supporters and folks that you might want to engage with, including sponsors and other members of and like interested parties in the farmers market are going to be really excited to celebrate and join in on a fun thing together. So that's the biggest one, I think. Gets its own slide. All right. And so, like I said, it's only 1 month away. So it's time to start planning. So Michael, I'm going to pass it off to you.
Yes, time to start planning. So if anybody has celebrated National Farmers Market Week, we would love to hear your experience in the past. So please share it in the comments if you have celebrated before and the things that you have done, and maybe even things that you're looking forward to this upcoming National Farmers Market Week. Next slide. So the National Farmers Market Week Toolkit is finally here. If you have not, please go to our website and download it so you can get all the tips and the tools needed for you to have a successful Farmers Market Week. Planning, evaluation guides. It also includes social media graphics that you can share on your platforms. Especially, it also includes our shared national messaging, which is Farmers Market Don't Just Happen, as well as templates and tools for you to connect with the media in your community, such as op-ed templates for newspapers and publications in your community, press release templates, and just a few more other things, as well as advocacy resources. Before the toolkit launched, the Farmers Market Week Toolkit launch, we also launched our Advocacy Toolkit, and this toolkit mentions our Advocacy Toolkit. I really encourage you all to also go and check that out so you know how to connect and communicate with your local legislators and elected officials, so they can also be in the know and be updated with your farmers markets and why they matter in your community. Next. Here's a few things that are in the toolkit. So the first thing I want to talk about is the social media cheat sheet. This is a really great way for you to create captions and content to get your audience hyped up for Farmers Market Week. So we mention a few things in that, including hashtag Farmers Market Week. It's trending around the globe. So we have some sample posts that you can use in order to just let your audience know about Farmers Market Week. We also included Farmers Market Don't Just Happen. You can talk about setting up your market, highlighting your market operators and volunteers, and also showing the market's impact through data, just to show that, like Hannah says, tents don't just pop up off the ground like mushrooms, that there's actual work and intention going into play when it comes to farmers markets. And Farmers Markets Don't Just Happen is a really great message to showcase to your community of all the hard work you all do. And the next hashtag is Love My Market. This is really great for just in community engagement. asking community members, vendors, market managers, volunteers, why they love the market, what the market means to them. I think it's a really great way to just have some community engagement and also to showcase appreciation for your farmers market. So we have some sample posts there as well. On the other side of the slide, we also have a sample of our social media graphic, why farmers markets. So we created a few social media graphics with national data of the impact that farmers market has on a national scale, as well as examples of maybe certain farmers markets, such as the Grove Market in Greensboro, North Carolina, and how they donated fresh produce from farmers to donate. So this is a really great way to show the impact that farmers markets have in their community. And yeah, please use all the graphics and the cheat sheet as a way to create your social media plan during this week. Next. Okay, so the next thing we have is just a way to measure a successful farmers market week. We understand that data is a really great way to showcase the impact that your farmers market has on the community as a whole. So certain things such as community engagement by getting proclamations from elected officials or features in media, TV, print, radio, as well as just market measurements such as your visitor counts, your vendor sales. These are all important for people to see, like in true numbers, the impact that your market has on your community. So next. Okay, so speaking of data, besides you collecting data for your market and your community to show that what your specific market does for your community, we also have national farmers market facts and figures. Back last year, this was called our talking points, but it's really great to have data on a national scale of what farmers markets have done. This is really great to look, not just to share to your audience and your audience and your customers on a social media scale, but these are really great facts and figures and data to share if you have an op-ed that you want to do for your local newspaper, if you have media interviews that you want to do for your TV or radio. These are really great ways to showcase the impact that farmers market has a whole and why they're important in this food system. Next.
I just want to point out one thing is at the bottom of this, of our facts and figures, there's a small link and it's to submit your own data. So if you have data from your market that you want to submit, and we could use that next year in our Why Farmers Markets graphics and things like that. So I just want to point out that one little fun thing that we're always looking for you to submit your data to help us round out this information to share it with markets. So
yes,
now I'll move you on, Michael. Sorry.
No worries. And yes, if you have any questions, any ideas that you want to share, please contact me and Hannah. That is our email. We are just looking forward to having a successful, amazing National Farmers Market Week. And yeah, we're just looking forward to seeing any ideas that you may have, anything that you guys are going to implement this year. Please share it down below in the comment section. And we are here for questions at this moment. So if anyone has any questions, please let us know.
Yeah, and it seems like there's some awesome stuff happening in the chat. Before I read it out, I also just want to clarify that if you've downloaded our toolkit, you'll see a lot of additional resources that Mike Lee didn't have a chance to dive into today. those ones that we highlighted are kind of our top go-to ones that you can definitely take advantage of, no matter what your capacity is. If we walked through probably every single resource in our toolkit, we'd be here all day. Not to toot our own horns, but there's a lot going on in there. So we hope that you'll check out the customizable Canva graphics that Michael put together, and a lot of other stuff that you can take advantage of, no matter what time you're getting started on your planning. So it looks like we have Jacksonville, Florida. They had a great time last year during National Farmers Market Week. Love being able to celebrate them. Carborough, North Carolina, last year they held a mini museum.
Nice.
A series of banners that captured the history of the market, displayed them for shoppers to learn about the market. That's really cool. That sounds awesome. Last 2 years, due to COVID, Melissa is sharing that they'd been pretty low key, but this year they're going all out. So fun. They have a local radio station broadcasting live from the market, planned kids event. FMC tattoos just arrived. Yeah, Melissa, I recognize your name from sending those out, and other things going on. They've celebrated numerous ways over the years in Midland, Michigan. 2-day-a-week market, do different things on Wednesday versus Saturday. Pastries with public servants at the market. That sounds like so much fun. Corn on the cob eating contest. We've seen folks do zucchini tosses. We've seen a corn shucking contest between, I think it was the Minnesota Department of Ag and some market managers in Minnesota. So that was really fun. Definitely some cool contests. Definitely always good photo ops too. Love seeing the conversation. Live cooking demo this year, definitely different this year potentially than the last few years due to COVID. Definitely still everybody's coming back slowly, but definitely cool to see more in-person stuff back. Emily's doing a market advocacy day, save the dates. So it's really can be dependent on your capacity and how much you have going on. Let's see, what are some other things that we've seen folks do? So I want to make sure you guys get lots of inspiration here. Really easy is a whiteboard with a why you love your market, or last year people did why their market is essential, but this year you can do the hashtag love my market, have folks fill out why they love their farmers market, take a picture with it, and then suddenly you have all of these amazing photos to use throughout the year about why people love their farmers market. Really easy to do that with maybe one volunteer at the manager's booth. Something we really like to highlight. Laura, I love drop the Instagram handles in the chat, y'all. This is great. We've also seen a lot of markets really use Farmers Market Week as a way to engage more volunteers. So definitely Farmers Market Week is not something that you should be doing alone as a market manager. A great way to engage your board if they're maybe not super engaged, or maybe you have a volunteer that is so engaged you don't know what to do with them. Asking them to help you plan Farmers Market Week is a great way to do that. So definitely really think about your capacity, what you have available to you as a market, and what you can make happen. Not every Farmers Market Week celebration looks the same, but there's a lot going on. Sarah's doing Power of Produce Club. They're going to be writing thank you cards for farmers and vendors. That's so awesome. Using farmers markets as a way to connect kiddos with agriculture and where their food comes from. That's really great to see. Awesome to see getting local city employees involved. Definitely there are some states where the governor or the senators are up for coming out to the market, but often the city elected officials have a lot of power in your local jurisdictions, and can have big influences on how easy it is or not easy it is to run your farmers market. So even if you can't get one of those big wigs to the market, inviting those city elected officials out to see what you're up to is really important, and can be a little easier than the big guys. So excited for this. April, we are too. Lots of Instagram handles getting dropped. So fun to see. If anybody has any questions, please drop them in the chat. That's what we're here for right now. Okay, Christine is asking, this first celebration this year, very exciting for those of you that have done this forever. So we've got a lot of expertise in the chat, so I hope you'll join in. What was something that worked for your market? We love this. And something that was hard and never again. Wow, this is a great question, Christine. Curious to see what answers come up. We've definitely seen some folks put on some fun fruit costumes. I know the Portland Farmers Market in Portland, Oregon, they do some really fun stuff. And I would love to hear some of those never again stories. We don't usually get to hear those. So Christine, we'll work on collecting some answers for you if we don't get any. If you aren't a part of our Farmers Market Coalition listserv, we hope you'll join. Michael, do you think you could pull the URL for the listserv sign up?
Yep, I can do that.
I don't want to stop sharing my screen. So that's a great thing for you to ask Christine questions like that on our chat, whether that's questions about National Farmers Market Week or even questions about running a SNAP program. Or there's recently a question about bark chips and how to run a market on different surfaces, running indoor markets in a gym, all those kinds of things. Market managers are often asking each other questions on our listserv. So Michael will drop the link and that's a great place to join. Thanks, Michael. Awesome. So Josie is asking, what are the best strategies for getting community partners, librarians, politicians, et cetera, involved? I don't know how much is too much to ask of them. That's a great question, Josie. I would say follow your gut. Definitely, the more people that are involved in a celebration, we've noticed it's a lighter lift. Sometimes it can be complicated to coordinate, but it's easier. The more people that are involved, the more community members have a connection and are more excited to come. And often you share resources and it is a little easier. We've noticed that asking folks early is best. So if you have time this week, start sending those emails, see what people are up to, and see how they'd like to get involved. Most of the time with politicians, it's really just asking them to show up, and that's really it. Librarians and other civil servants and other folks, they might have something that they want to contribute. You could ask them about if there's one of their programs that you can help them highlight, or if there's some kind of partnership. We've often noticed that those are the most effective things. Awesome. Wow, Emily, great knowledge getting dropped in the chat here. So easy first stuff, tattoos. Yep, order those today. They are flying off the shelves this year, folks. So I would recommend getting your orders in soon if you want them. The shipping's pretty quick, but still just making sure you can get them by National Farmers Market Week. And then a little harder, asking for little donations from each vendor and make up baskets to give away. So yeah, raffles are really common, especially with some farmers market goodies. Local t-shirt maker, and they count just for National Farmers Market. That's Farm Week. Awesome. Great stuff. So yeah, you can order your tattoos at that link. Any other questions? Anything about how to use the toolkit? I can provide some updates from FMC really quickly while we still got you on here. So that's going to be some things that you can look forward to from FMC is a Facebook Live every weekday of National Farmers Market Week on our Facebook. So Monday through Friday, we'll be hosting conversations with farmers market experts, which are usually market managers, other market managers to learn from. So we'll be talking about a variety of topics. One of those topics is the World Farmers Markets Coalition, which is a new budding organization that we are a part of representing the US. But there is a coalition of farmers markets all around the globe that is growing and recognized by the UN Food and Agriculture Organization. So we're really excited about that development. And this year, our international partners will be joining us. So the official proclamation of that comes out next week. So you all are in on the secret a week early. So we'll be inviting our global partners to join us. And so hashtag Farmers Market Week will be used here for National Farmers Market Week, but also for international hashtag Farmers Market Week. So we're really excited to be joining the global celebration and everything that farmers markets bring to countries and communities all around the globe. Will the chat be included in the recording? Yes, we'll be sharing out a Zoom link. And when the Zoom link will have the chat on the side. Thanks, Emily. That's a really important question because this chat is full of some golden resources. We'll wait a few more minutes to see if folks have questions, but the plan was that this would be a short, brief, get you excited webinar and then get you on your way because we know that this is such a busy time for everybody. So if you have some more questions, please drop them in the chat, but otherwise we won't hold you here for too long. If you're part of a state association, so if you're in one of a state with an association, most of those states will be doing a bunch of activities themselves, or might just even have some graphics and state-based messaging that you can share. I know there's a lot of stuff happening in states like Illinois and Alaska and Vermont. So really, really exciting stuff happening. And like you're seeing in the chat, y'all have great ideas, and definitely swapping them and sharing them is a great thing to do. We can definitely get a conversation going on the listserv. Mike Lee, I'm thinking you and I can ask a question on the listserv, and then we can get some folks to respond and share everything they're up to. I think that'd be a great place to continue this conversation
Definitely.
of swapping ideas. So first year, we love to see our newbies joining us. Very exciting. I can't say how much fun it is to have some new folks joining us for Farmers Market Week this year. It's going to be a really special one. And you guys have had such incredible years, both full of challenges and accomplishments. So really excited to be able to celebrate all of you. Okay. Well, if there's no more questions, we'll let you loose a little early, and glad to hear that we like the theme because they don't just happen. You guys are experts in what you do. You deserve resources specific for your needs, and you have put in so much work to make an essential asset in all of your communities. They wouldn't be the same without their farmers market. So glad to hear it. Put that toolkit to use, share it with your friends, and please, we're keeping our emails up for this whole time because we want you to send us updates and let us know what you're up to. So please do reach out. And
Yes.
Cool, awesome. Well, Mike Lee, if I haven't forgotten anything, I think we'll let him go.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, this
awesome.
is really great.
Awesome. All right. See y'all later. Thanks so much.
Bye.